Kintsugi is an ancient, actually dates back to the 15th century, an ancient form of Japanese art where a precious and beautiful vessel like this vase is broken but repaired with molten gold. And the end result is viewed as more beautiful, more precious than ever before. Kintsugi. Kintsugi was invented 600 years ago. They say it was by the shogun Yoshima. A shogun, that is a military commander in Japan. And Yoshima was very famous, very wealthy, very proud of his antique pottery collection. He had many, and they were very, very valuable. And one day, Yoshima found that one of his very favorite vases was broken. We don't know how it was broken. Those details are lost to antiquity. But I have my speculation. I'm just guessing. Maybe it was his young son. Now, all the boys are like, hey, wait a minute, that's not fair. How come we boys always get blamed for breaking stuff? I'm just guessing. Maybe the family was under quarantine. They couldn't leave the house because of some virus. And as a result, the young son was bored, trying to entertain himself, and he thought of a game. He said, what if I played bozo buckets? Found a smooth stone and tried to throw it into the vase, and that was the end of it. I'm just guessing. But it was broken. That's the important part. And Yoshima was devastated as he looked at the pieces on the floor. But he came up with an idea. He called upon an artist, probably the finest artist in all the land. And Yoshima called this artist and he says, it's your job to repair my broken vase. But here's the challenge. I want you to repair it in such a way that when it's done, it is more beautiful, more valuable, more beloved than it's ever been before. He said, cost is no obstacle, whatever it takes. Well, this artist went to work, and he came up with the idea of using molten gold as the bond that brought the pieces back together. And it was a huge hit, and a new form of art, kintsugi, was born. I thought of this kintsugi art vessel, and I said, man, that's good. That's like us. With kintsugi, they don't try to conceal the fracture, the scars. They let them stand out because the healing, the bond, the mending is absolutely beautiful. And friends, that's us. Did you think about it? This is our story. This is who we are. If you've ever wondered, who am I? And tried to have an accurate self-evaluation, it's a very important question. Some say, well, I'm awesome. But are you awesome? Or are you a failure? Are you extraordinary? Or are you a bum? These are questions that we got to wrestle with. And I think kintsugi helps us understand biblically who we are. In fact, Good Friday, the cross of Christ, is exactly where an accurate understanding of self is gained. Friends, let me show you our kintsugi story. Let me show you our story from the book of Isaiah. I love this prophet of old because he wrote words by God's Spirit that are so true in revealing who we really are. Isaiah happened to love pottery, and he used the imagery of pottery quite a bit. Here's Isaiah 64, verse 8. It says, you, speaking to the Lord, you are the potter, we are the clay. We are the work of your hands. Isn't that beautiful? That God is the one who formed us as a potter does clay. Friends, that's true. Do you realize your uniqueness, all that makes you, you, is there because God formed us? And friends, when you see God's signature on us, it tells us that we were formed by the Master. You are a piece of precious art made by God Himself. And friends, at the very core of what makes us so precious and valuable is that each of us, we were formed by God. So part of our story, like this vessel, is that we were formed by the Master. But it's not all, is it? Let me turn now. This is Isaiah chapter 30, verses 13 and 14. It says, because of your sin, you are like a clay jar smashed into many pieces. Friends, a very sad and significant turn in our story is the reminder of our sin. Though God has given us a free will and said, you follow me if you want, each of us have chosen to rebel against the authority of God. We sinned in not doing the very things He called us to do. We sinned by doing the things He forbid us from doing. The truth is we're all rebels. And as a result of our rebellion, our lives are smashed and destroyed. And we've fallen from the relationship with God that we were meant to enjoy. And it's a devastating result. Like pieces of pottery spread on the floor. Friends, that's our story. If not for the rescue of Jesus Christ. If not for Good Friday. If not for the cross. So our story is we were formed by the Master and we were broken by our sin. But one more Isaiah passage. This is Isaiah 53, verse 5. Simple verse. It says, by His wounds we were healed. By His wounds. This is a prophecy about the coming Messiah, about Jesus Christ. Prophesying that He's going to be wounded. He's going to be hurt physically. He'll be destroyed. But somehow through His destruction, we gain healing, repair, if you will. Jesus is precious. Like this is not a real gold bar, but it'll remind us of one. Jesus is like a gold bar. He is so valuable. And when he was crucified, it was like he was destroyed, like a gold bar being turned into molten gold. It's melting. It's being destroyed. And yet with kintsugi, that very molten gold becomes the bond that heals us. We are restored and put back together by the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Isn't that our story? Friends, we look and we are whole, not because we're whole in and of ourselves. No, we were broken, but we were put back together by Christ's suffering, by his death on the cross. Jesus died on the cross on our behalf. He suffered, fulfilling justice. He paid the death penalty on our behalf. And so our rebellion, being paid for by Christ, opens the door for God to restore our lives, restore our relationship with him, give us newness of hope forever. Kintsugi. It's your story. Who are you? This is who you are. You are formed by the Master. You are broken by your sin, but you are repaired by his blood. It's a glorious story. It's a beautiful story. And we are so privileged to call it our story.